GN Bank amafo bi kire mu say kamia ko say e ko kan consolidated bank ni hu say ni say ko share baby o but it is a brain no menu nyina no utimi ye nyina ye di adanse ye say nipa kra titire ni anako fire by ma GN Bank Paa Kwesi Nduom no o kamia ko say wo ye de na hu odin betimi bia so betimi ama GN Bank assign revive biom because Ghana for no na che say ye bank a ye ni ji ho pa yi free say na ye nim say ye dia vantifo so say ade wo fi a oje besid ne no ni that's one Ghana for bi wo and that's one one kasa Paa Kwesi Nduom no or what say GN Bank betimi assign revive it back and as betimi assign bounce back on its feet. So it looks like every day every time no it turns out to be a negative impact just say onya positive energy be every baby it me no kasa you know there has been a post that utimi who say or share a dino or share adwene na etachiri or share emu nyina still na as a he's seeing the reality of his life and as the reality of his dreams tend to you have no idea na sisi ano Paa Kwesi Nduom I don't know but kamia quite say as a Ghana for was say you sympathize with him more say ye nim kwan kwa so aboa no but any more people see on social media they be trend on social media e be fa GN Bank bia no na ya ade as kai as ye do in some mampo ani akai anom as the ones thriving and energetic buildings are near the GN Bank who said this is truly African, this is truly Ghanaian no say any boss so na quite say we none other than who but say any hobby and I think it has left the man very very worried and I'll say
yeah, so what is really happening is what you are saying definitely is true, but what is really happening is that in the course of this particular week though and Paa Kwesi Nduom on Facebook in the official Instagram handler you see say obviously one of the branches as you can see on the screens now obviously no enemy so etata in fact this is not the first time he's been crying or branch we am akosum kamia ko ese kwa ye minim say farewell ceremony so then but this particular one hit to the bones it hits to the bones because this particular GM building it's been engulfed as you can see on the screen with weeds and also grass and other things such as some of the buildings have even been left deserted. Now one of the things you have to notice is that some of these buildings the company bought it as investment 35 years 40 years near the so apparently in the lease no say in sea and so yeah still now is uninhabited. And even far from that, one of the things that you also notice is that some of the buildings, even they own it themselves. But then bringing the bank back, and now there's a lengthy video of him speaking and saying he said it's not discouraged and all of that. But then one thing to this particular administration, we've uncovered, and they say this whole GM Bank collapse together with other bank collapse. It was a directive which came from the IMF and the MAD directive said certain banks like GM Bank, UT Bank and Kono, they don't think they don't like their services in Tiankabeya. So one of the things is collateral and then see where that one was to collapse these banks. So Paa Kwesi Nduom realized that last year before the elections he met with various stakeholders, especially with current president John Dramani Mahama. Say omunye yombetimi bia no mutimi fasa bank no embra back. Aside from that too, one other thing that we saw was that John Dramani Mahama says they will look into it. So we don't know if now John Dramani Mahama wabano these banks they will be given the opportunity to come back. And I said now even if they are given the opportunity to come back, the license together with the money, the capital to start itself, and even getting the operational team up and running again, it itself a very very big problem. Yeah.
But don't you think says say a wire no say or yes say no he has safeguarded himself or something. It may be a man a chance that even if the number of branches that he can't maintain the same and that's the exact number of branches are obetimi maintaining a couple of them are obetimi running like fast once I say or obetimi number of some year 15 obetimi e be a 10 nisika beso no obetimi manage ni ade for other than saying
GM Bank Ankasano it is not the only bank he owns. I'm learning it's the First Atlantic Bank Crano as I know see a subsidiary of his Nduom group of companies. But you see the GM Bank they were running this Gold Coast Coin trading stuff and also was one of the things the government then together with the Bank of Ghana they felt it was a Ponzi scheme. So based on all of this, the IMF raised a red alert on it. But even far from that, GM Bank, you know, you be kind of cry, and as you be showing into the details, according to the Bank of Ghana, there was gross incompetence because there was a case with US which involved the Gold Coast trading, the Gold Coast trading. Apparently, I invested in various properties. US almost musika ma asem no kwakopi wo court ama Paa Kwesi Nduom ne ba penia or head the bank no kra no na so I share so asem no wa can we. So that is just one part of it. So it is just a mix of the IMF inefficiency and also the incompetence of Paa Kwesi Nduom that has brought this particular thing. That is what we were made to know. But then the bank can definitely come back. But I believe Sebeba Baka, it needs a different kind of leadership. It needs a new leadership because trust me, we share bank here, Capital Bank, na ICGC, Otabel, na sorry bank na. You realize that two force na two AC and not that bank in him no. Yet no investigation he bought houses and things over $100 million. Master, he was flying first class all over the world, and also first class no flying now or they pay investment. All of these inconsistencies and stuff are car. The actual one is a mindi mude. You get what I'm saying? So the whole lot of things that really went into all of this which caused this particular problem. It is a very, 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 very sad thing. So even if the government should give them their license back, I think the leadership and the people at the helm of leadership, they need to be changed. We need new people there, and yes, a bank no good. Yeah.
International say any like any kind and I did go no name. It went through strategic
various factors.
Okay.
Various factors. What yes, okay. Various factors. I didn't tell you see microfinance and banks, you know, they usually take cash and a capital from the central bank to operate. Okay. So akwese what could jiska why you what start as a microfinance now we be doing pempen so we and why migrate acquire bank. Okay, some banks go and take money from the central bank, that's the Bank of Ghana, to use it as what operating capital. In the end this can be the air loan and home for so now na utia a year bank no na utia a year central bank no. Do you get what I'm saying? By the point in time what could this scanner about shares? Okay, what is your starting balance? So starting balance never want to cry no. In Kofo cry, it's called my job. The background now, I just say, do baby, and then so the castle. What you say? It's a whole day something na than ever. And banks no usually in Kofo be invest here. They don't just use the money and put it in the bank. They be ukuta 100 million now. The two them in the next 50 years. The value of that 100 million, 1 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah, I would appreciate.
For money, no, it has to be used to work, if any working capital. So usually, when you give these banks money, what they do is they take this money and they use it to invest in properties and buy things and all that. That's why you just say a company, a banker, say no, we invest here. Or more many forms of investment and many forms of savings, but the long term fixed deposit is 1 year near the idea. Fixed deposit, you can't take the money, and even if you should break and take the money, you lose part of your money and you lose the interest, okay, and the profit and kebe. So most of the time people don't take the money unless the maturity is now 1 year do time on being idea. So what these banks do is that they take your money and then you say, your properties be sprinters and our airport develop, and they use that money to build, rent, and then they get income out of it. They invest in real estate, in farming, in e-commerce, they touch share. So it is a whole lot of sika and daho. So most of these banks, they use the money to invest. It's one of the arguments I hear Capital Bank make here and say they've used most of the money to buy buildings that were easily gone. These are buildings now cost sprinters. You see 15 story, 13 most of them a bank there. So they do it, they lease it in profits. No, or mafa a call for sika omode abeton omode yes are into profit bani amount 10%. Not the account bank afa. That is the bank itself. It's just a building with no money. That the way the bank operates is just a building itself with no money. It's a building in the AC near Jinko Fusika, near the business, near Maukakra, near Suafadiakano, near Kotiska, or Central Bank, near you distribute, near the year loans, near the year grants. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how basically it works.
All right, okay. And to say, Paa Kwesi Nduom, if he wants to bounce back, what are the major things he can do to bounce back? Like, how does he come back? Because
it all boils down to the Bank of Ghana. the governor of the Bank of Ghana, and also Ghana itself. And I think Mahama is really looking into it because banks collapse here, Birch Capital, GN Bank, Unibank, UT Bank, a lot of banks, and Capital Bank, a whole lot of banks. Most of these banks, I had friends there. I had family members on me. I even had people who saved there. It's a bank and they automatically become jobless. Now Uber driver be or farm. Also, I used to work in these banks before they collapsed, and now I have to resort to Uber. What I say, so my family can feed. So, if the banks are there, it creates employment because and then before we my business, when all your business administration will square, I question what ton ego. Because we juma be na kwakoye ati so we need more of these banks to be operational to assume or consume the unemployed, so the unemployment rate so a whole lot of factors all boils down to the Bank of Ghana and also the governor of the Bank of Ghana together with the Ministry of Finance and also the President of the Republic of Ghana.
Did the IMF whatever rules and regulations for us to get the money, states categorically say you can say Ghanaian banks and I say local banks.
They mention their names.
They mention the names of the banks.
They mention their names.
Wow, that's nice.
That is why I am paying the advice against this particular foreign loans. In fact, that was not the only caveat. And one of the things that Ghana we had to fulfill LGBT clauses be. Last year I did an extensive story about this, but I read a whole lot of reports. The former Bank of Ghana, Governor of Bank of Ghana, Ernest Addison or Ken Semno, I played it here, so I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So they mentioned the banks by name, and UT Bank was one of them. I said, but I say no. Now other banks be so were bleeding from capital, or per capital ratio, no, and now. And maybe this the last 4 years or so, no. Bank of Ghana Beka said you have to have a certain kind of money, operational money, before you beat my lines and you say suspend all license.
License, yes. So I remember I said those times. Na GM Bank,
exactly.
And they were saying that
they need to meet the threshold.
Yeah.
So I think so. One bank who was caught in the crossfire was a car bank, but car bank ultimately they were able to survive. So they mentioned their banks and not ebimosono or more I remember Birch Capital like this, no sir. So ni nyina ka ho and at the end of the day no. They say so akoye say ye good banks and ye good banks. Ya mention e see good banks na wo bank go scanning so ni di mu nyina be ka on aye ne ba ko.
Ye pa pam mo dada. Also how if you na ayo ho lale. Any ancient video na so that is a long video. Paa Kwesi Nduom.
Good morning, and good morning to everyone. And thank you for making the decision to be with me this morning. I appreciate the attention. I appreciate your being part of this. I do appreciate your time. And once again, I want to thank you for making the decision to be here and to listen, watch this program that I have called Disappointed but Not Discouraged. And this is part 2 in a series. And the subtitle for this, as I have named it, is The Journey About Business in Ghana. So this is about business. And I am using part of the business that I am the chairman for, Group Indom, but specifically GN Bank and a couple of other companies that have been in distress, for some time. And as I usually do, today we're not going to talk about Jeremiah, not about Timothy, but something from Proverbs, because Proverbs chapter 24, verse 33 is the one that says, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. I use this and I encourage our employees at Group Indom, the management, to pay attention to this, that we must always be alert. We think that we're doing the right things. We believe that we're doing what is necessary, what is needed. But we never know who is out there, who is sort of taking a look at our activities. And I'm not just talking about competitors, because competitors, they are good. Competition is good. It makes you work harder, makes you polish up your act, and makes you be better if you're serious about the business. But I am talking about some of those people who are looking at what we are doing, what you are doing, with the aim of destruction, with the aim of doing away with you, with the aim of washing you away from the industry or the activity that you're involved in. And also, when we say, do not sleep, when we say, don't fold your arms or hands to rest, we are saying, be vigilant, be awake, and make sure that you are always improving constantly, doing the right things, following the regulations, paying taxes, doing the things that are necessary to be done, so that we can not only stay in business, but that we can prevail, we can do well, and we can offer jobs, and we can offer commercial, industrial activity that will boost the level of prosperity in the country that we reside in. Now, as I had announced last week, this broadcast is not an event. It's not a one-time thing, not at all. As I mentioned, it will be a weekly activity for the next several weeks. So it will continue. And over the past 5 years, let me go on a bit. I want to do an announcement, a pre-event announcement. Very soon, maybe closer to the end of this month, it is our intention to hold a hashtag Bring Back GN Bank rally. A hashtag Bring Back GN Bank rally in my hometown, Elmina, Edna. So look out for the announcement and look out for where we are going to be doing this. And you have anything that has GN Bank colors, and here these are GN Bank colors, maroon and gold. Put it on and come to that event. It will be somewhere around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. We'll let you know the exact date, time, location, but it will be in Elmina. We want people to come and rally with us. We want people to come and identify with us. We want people to come and let the entire country know that what has happened to GN Bank was needless, pointless, very destructive. And we see where the economy is. Look at where we could have been. As I calculated the other day, it's about 70,000 direct jobs that are connected to what is it that we have done and what we're doing and what we had been doing. And so that's just an announcement of what is to come. My original plan for today was to move on to another topic dealing with some of our other companies. But after the last broadcasts, last week, Wednesday, so